Today we're going to be talking about budget-friendly houseplants that are really cheap to buy and they're really easy to care for too, as well as being rewarding to grow. And the first one I have to share with you is Pia Pepperomia, also known as the Chinese money plant. These guys are really popular because they're really easy to care for. You can find them pretty much anywhere, and yeah, they're really fun to grow. They kind of grow little babies eventually off the main plant, and they can get quite big. Mine is still a fairly new starter plant, but I can highly recommend this one. I've really enjoyed growing this one so far, and yeah, it's one of those plants that I'd highly recommend to anyone, whether you're a beginner or whether you're experienced with houseplants. I think this is one of the most underrated houseplants. It often doesn't get mentioned because it's not rare or anything like that. There is actually a variegated version of this. I think it's called Pia Pepperomia's Mojito, I believe. It's kind of got a mottled variegation to it. I've kind of ummed and ahed about whether to get that one, but I think I kind of prefer the solid green one personally. But I've found this one to be super easy to look after, and when it comes to watering, I'd say it probably doesn't like to dry out completely, but there have been times when I've forgotten, and it does seem to be a fairly forgiving plant when you forget occasionally. But yeah, I'd say it's a pretty hardy plant, and it's one that I don't really worry about too. It's one of those plants, you know, you get the ones that are a bit of a drama queen. This is not a drama queen. It's definitely really easy to grow, and yeah, I highly recommend this one, Pia Pepperomia. And then next is a plant that is growing really fast for me at the moment actually. This is Pepperomia Obtusopologia. And this one's having a real growth spurt at the moment. And yeah, I had to mention this one because it's really cheap and easy to get hold of, but I find it really rewarding to grow because it is a fast grower, and I think mine was probably about here when I got it. So I've only had, this is the first kind of growing season that I've had it, and it's grown so much. I mean, it's just look at all those leaves it's putting out. And the leaves are really lovely and glossy and shiny. And I'll turn it around to the back as well, and you can see it kind of grows upwards like that, and then it kind of branches out. But I keep mine in a really bright kitchen window. It gets really bright indirect light there, and I water it when it's dry. I'm a little bit more, I wouldn't say I water it more in the spring, summer, but it dries out quicker, so I definitely keep up with the watering a little more during spring, summer, if you know what I mean. I don't like to leave it dry for too long because I know that it's hot and it needs more water because it's growing. And then definitely in the winter I kind of just cut back a bit, and I might leave it to be dry for a little bit longer during the winter because it's not growing and it's not using as many resources. But yeah, I'm quite excited to grow this one this year because it really is just going absolutely wild, and it does seem to really be okay with the kitchen window I've got it into. I wondered if it might be a little bit too much light for it there, but it seems fine. I'm not getting any scorching or anything. Yeah, so I'll continue to kind of give it that spot for now, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just think it's really fun and really easy to grow, great for a kitchen window, and yeah, I just love everything about this one. It's one of those super low maintenance plants that you'll pretty much find everywhere, and you could probably just buy a small one of these and it will grow really fast for you, because this one that I bought, I think it cost me £1 or £2, something like that. It was really cheap, and just look at it, it's growing like mad. So yeah, stay tuned because I'll definitely share how this one grows throughout spring, summer, because I reckon it's going to be one of my fastest growers. At least it is at the moment. It's kind of turning into a little tree at the moment. And yeah, I found this fun little pot for it too. So it kind of looks like it's growing a hair, which I quite like. And next up is the purple passion plant, and I wanted to share this one because this one is really cheap to buy, but it grows really fast and it definitely appreciates really nice bright light, bright and direct light. It can actually handle a little bit of direct light too, but just be careful you don't let it dry out too much. At the moment I've got mine in a grow light, underneath a grow light, and it's growing really nicely. The leaves are much bigger and it seems really healthy, so I think it definitely does like being under the grow light for sure. It looks like a spider has made his home on this one. Let's have a look. I don't think that's spider mites, I think it's just a regular spider. Just giving it the web a little bit of a blow to see if the spider comes out. You can usually tell the difference between spider mite webbing and spider webbing, because spider webbing is kind of more, it's got the longer pieces to it, and spider mite webbing tends to be kind of finer. It took me a while to get used to that, but yeah, very often I find those kind of really small money spiders like to make webs in my plants, so I've had to kind of learn the difference between the different webs, because obviously I'm okay with them being on here, but of course I have to also check for spider mites, and there's definitely no spider mites, and that looks like just a normal spider web to me. I expect he's in there somewhere thinking, please leave my home alone, but I won't mess with him too much. But yeah, this one is nice and colourful, it grows really fast. Definitely don't be afraid to give it some really bright light, because it does seem to grow better that way, and I've found that I've had this one for a couple of years now, I think, at least a year, and I've grown it in natural light and I've tried it under grow light, and I'm finding it really loves the grow light, so I've got mine under there. But it's definitely a plant that doesn't necessarily like to dry out too much. But it will forgive you if you don't water it in time, but it might just get some kind of brown crisping. So yeah, if you don't want the brown crisping, I would try and keep up with the watering if you can. I try my best to keep up with it, especially during the warmer months. And if you keep up with the watering, you get these lovely healthy leaves that don't have brown tips. Another really cheap, easy plant to get hold of is the Heartleaf Filerendron, and I haven't even had mine very long, but it's grown so much. I've literally had it like a few days, I think, and I can't believe how much it's grown already. I'm seeing lots of new vines, we've got new growth there. Yeah, it's really growing quite fast, this one. And I don't have it in the highest light area too, and when I bought this one, some of you commented that it was a really good low light plant too, and it does seem to really respond well to the low light. Yeah, I've kind of got it in a slightly lower light situation because my plan is to try and keep it in that area eventually, so I'm kind of trying to acclimate it to growing in that kind of environment. But it does seem to be a fast grower, and I'm still umming and ahhing, do I give it something to climb or do I just let it trail? But I think I'm going to give it something to climb. But it's so easy to get hold of, this one, and so cheap, and you could just get yourself a really small one because of how fast they grow. That's what I did, and yeah, I haven't had it barely a week, I don't think, and it's it really is going crazy. So if you're looking for a fast growing one, this one would definitely be it. And it seems to be a very hardy plant too, from other people that I've heard of. I've heard that it's very hardy, very adaptable and very low maintenance, so I could definitely highly recommend this one for sure. Next up we have Rafidaphora Tetrisperma, and I really love how this one grows. This is a vining plant, so you'll either want to give it something to climb, or you can of course grow it trailing, but it's really easy to care for, and it's also a really fast grower too. Mine is a brand new plant because I propagated from it, but it's got new growth coming in here. It propagated really easily in soil, and yeah, it just seems like one of those plants that wants to survive. So you can pick a small one of these up really cheap, and I definitely recommend buying a smaller one because of how fast they grow. If you buy a small, well-established one, it will grow really fast. And these make really excellent house plants. You often see them on Instagram, don't you, kind of climbing up people's walls and things. Definitely don't do that if you're renting, but you know, you could do it if you're in your own place. But yeah, I think this one's a really attractive plant. It's got these beautiful fenestrations, and if you don't have room for a big Monstera deliciosa, this is like a good option because it's more compact, especially if you choose to grow it up a pole or something, because you can go vertical, so you've got a little bit more space to get it in. And yeah, I think this is a good plant for giving you that kind of jungle feel, but not having to spend a lot of money. For example, if you were to buy a massive Monstera deliciosa, you're looking at over £100 for that, but you could buy a small one of these for less than £20, and you could just grow it huge at home and you'd have a big plant in no time, especially if you buy it during the spring, summer. I haven't had this one during the winter months yet, so I don't know if it actually grows off season, but yeah, I will let you know if it does. But it definitely is a fun plant, and I could highly recommend this one. I think it's a really attractive jungly plant, as I say, and it's really good for giving basically any room in your house that kind of jungle feel. Another plant I think is really rewarding to grow when you buy it small is this one. This is the Pepperomia Hope, and yeah, I just bought some tiny little top plants from Dobby's Garden Centre, and I planted them and they're already growing really well. But you can get these for a really low price. It's probably one of the most easy to find peperomias, and I just think it's beautiful. It's got lovely coin-shaped leaves. It's really easy to care for too, and it's growing nice and fast. Look at those new leaves coming in there. And I'm finding this one to be really rewarding to grow. So I would definitely recommend the the Pepperomia Hope. Eventually it will become just a really beautiful, luscious trailing plant. So this is one of my most exciting ones to grow this year. This year I've bought a few kind of smaller plants to see how they grow, because I'm interested to start right at the bottom, so to speak, and then watch them grow throughout the growing season. This is one of them, and it's actually exceeding my expectations. It's growing far quicker than I imagined it might, and yeah, I could highly recommend it. It's really easy and low maintenance. I just let mine dry out completely before I water it again, and I give it nice bright indirect light, and that's all I really do for this plant. And it's so easy, it's so fuss-free and low maintenance. Next we have the Filodendron White Princess, and many years ago this might have set you back a bit, but you can get these super cheap now. So if you're looking for a variegated plant, like for example one that is similar to the Monstera alba or Thai constellation, but it's not going to cost you a fortune, this is a really great option because it has similar variegation, but you'll pay a much lower price. I paid less than £20 for this plant, and it's a really beautiful plant. It's putting out some beautiful variegation. You definitely don't have to pay the earth to get a beautiful variegated plant like this. So if you've been kind of lusting after the Monstera alba or Thai constellation, but you just still don't want to pay those slightly high prices, because even though the prices come down for that plant, it's still not that low. A lot of places are still charging a lot, but this I think is a great option, and it's really low in price now. And personally I prefer it. I think the growth pattern is a little bit more compact, even though it is a vining plant. It's a little bit more compact, and yeah, I've really been enjoying growing this one. It definitely grows better than the Pink Princess, I would say, because I also have the Pink Princess, but this one is, it seems to size up better. The leaves come out bigger and more kind of healthy and luscious, and yeah, I'd say the variegation is just a bit more generous on this one. So yeah, Philodendron White Princess, if you're looking for that variegated plant but you don't want to spend a fortune, this is a really good option. I could highly recommend it. And also I will say that again, this one is really easy to care for too, so it's not going to be a drama queen or anything like that. Another plant that I barely ever see mentioned online is this one. This is the Ficus Benjaminina Twilight, and it's basically a Ficus Benjaminina, but it's the variegated version. And I'll just come back here so you can see it properly. I think it's a really cool plant. I've also got the green version of this too, and yeah, I think it's really underrated. It's got really cool variegation. It's really pretty. It's got kind of a tree-like structure. It gets quite woody as it grows, and it's also really easy to care for. I think sometimes Ficus Benjaminas get a bad rap for being a bit finicky, but I've never ever found mine to be finicky. It's absolutely fine, and even though it does prefer to stay moist, there have been times when I've let mine dry out and it's been absolutely fine, and you can see how much it's growing. This was a fairly small plant when I got it, but it really is growing beautifully. I'd say it's getting probably bright, medium indirect light. I wouldn't say it was the highest light of all my plants, but it still maintains its variegation and it still looks gorgeous. So yeah, I think this one doesn't get enough airtime because it's super common and I guess people don't really care much, but I think it's really beautiful and it's also really cheap, as I say, and easy to get hold of. So I could highly recommend this one, especially if you're looking for something that's a little bit more kind of tree-like and elegant. I don't think the camera's doing it full justice, but if I come back here, it kind of has a lovely kind of tree-like structure to it. And yeah, I think it's really beautiful. So those are the plants I have to share with you today. I'd love to know your opinions in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.